California. This one right here. We are about right in this area here. So in 1856, when that executive order was to set aside 4 large tracts of land and reserve it explicitly for tribal people. Pupa Valley is right up here, so that wasn't one of them, and Round Valley, and then Tule River is about in this area, down by San Joaquin Valley by Modesto, and then down by Owens Valley. That's almost near the end of the Sierra Range. So those large tracts of land were set aside, and they said, go out and find all the adjacent tribes who are just being shot down. In this valley, probably about, I'd say, more than 24 tribal communities from all around. The total 360-degree realm from Round Valley, more than 24 tribal communities were just driven in here, just like cattle. And the first group that was driven in here came straight from the Pasquena. Now they have reestablished their community, and they have a giant casino there called the Rolling Hills, and they're making money hands over fist now. But they were the first group that were driven here, and so they were part of the real long existing tribe from Shasta all the way to Lake County. And we started with the Wintoon, the Nomlaki, and the Potwin, that whole strip. It's all the same cultural language type of a nation. And then after that, like my ancestors are Wailakis, so almost straight from the north. Anybody ever been to Ruth out in that area? Ruth is probably the east part of the Wailaki Nation, and it ran from South Fork Mountain. You go on top of South Fork Mountain, which runs north and south. On the other side of that mountain, from Ruth, is Red Bluff. So then, going west, all the way to Shelter Cove. Anybody know where Garberville, Shelter Cove located up here? That was, the far, the coastal region of the Wailaki Nation. And the Wailakis came down south to the North Fork and went all the way to, where Hay Fork and Weaverville are located. So that was a big territory just for the Wailaki people. And I think less than 2,000 were actually gathered up and driven south into this valley to be held by the so-called citizens militia. And then Decado, everybody knows where Laytonville is, our arch rival in basketball, football, and baseball. By the way, when I was in high school, we used to beat them just about every game and everything. So Laytonville, and then there were Coast Yuki and Wailaki tribal people even lived in the Fort Bragg area. And then going south, as I mentioned earlier, the Kashaya, which is down past Cloverdale, they had already been invaded by the Russians. The Russians came in and docked their ships there and actually built a fort and had a big stockade where they were enslaving some of the Kashaya tribal people, and took a lot of them and a lot of their basketry and everything back to Russia. And a little sidebar note on that story is that Russia has one of the most outstanding baskets of California tribes in Russia. And when I was teaching at Ukiah High School, one of the Lincoln girls was a junior, and she researched and actually got some funding, so she traveled to Russia and visited that museum where her ancestors' work was there. So that's very exciting.